This marks the beginning of media number 3 in the video deposition of Amber Depp. The time is approximately 3:18 p.m. We're back on the record.
Thank you. So, Ms. Heard, we were just leaving off at when Johnny arrived, having sent him a text prior to his arrival, indicating, "Hey, baby, bring up something to drink and or a joint. I'm in if you are." When Mr.
Okay, she's re-asking her these questions because Amber sent Johnny a text saying, "Hey, bring up a joint and some wine," but continues to say she would never support Johnny drinking or doing drugs. So she does her best to dance around answering whether or not she sent this text. And it's annoying AF.
Depp arrived, did he in fact have a joint, to your knowledge?
I believe so.
Okay.
But I can't be 100% certain. I guess I shouldn't guess, huh?
Don't guess.
Do you have any recollection as you sit here what happened to the joint, if he in fact had it?
No, nothing specific.
Did he
just these days he's I don't know if I can remember a single time when he didn't have a joint and
She remembers that he always had a joint every other time, but she can't remember if he had a joint this time or not because it would implicate her.
his hand when he walked in a room. I mean, I'm saying about 99% of the time.
But you have no specific memory that he had a joint with him when he arrived on April 21, 2016. Is that correct?
Can't be 100% certain.
And did he have a bottle of wine in his arms or hands?
Oh my God. Her holding that teacup and pretending to think about it.
I'm not quite sure.
Okay. And this text you sent him prior to his arrival, the "Hey baby," we'll refer to it as the "Hey baby" text, you say that you no longer have this text because your phone was destroyed, correct?
It was destroyed that night when he threw it out of the window and it smashed.
I posted a short of her going to Coachella with her friends the next day, and it really looks like she's holding a phone in her own hand.
And it was never recovered.
Okay. And you said you threw his phone out, but you immediately retrieved it. Is that true?
His phone was protected significantly. And after he threw mine out of the window, I threw his out of the window immediately after. And his was immediately recovered. It was recovered that night because
Okay.
I tracked it. We used Find My iPhone.
How quickly was it recovered, Ms. Hurd?
Probably within a matter of hours, max.
Okay.
I'd say a matter of hours.
Okay. Isn't it true, Ms. Hurd, that someone in fact stole Mr. Depp's phone from where they found it?
I'm not sure how it wound.
She can't admit it was stolen, and she knows it was, in my opinion, because then that would be taking some accountability for her having thrown it out the window in the first place.
Up where it wound up, but we did track my iPhone and we could see it move, and was eventually I tracked it down to a liquor store.
See, she'll own finding the phone, but she won't claim to know anything else around the scenario. Insufferable. And I have a hard time believing she did any of this. I believe that Depp's team did it, the security guards or whatever, for sure.
And asked his security guards to go and get it from this liquor store, and from what I understand, they confronted someone that was at the liquor store with his card.
Okay. And as for your phone that you say was smashed,
Never recovered.
okay, how do you know it was smashed?
In my opinion, there's her holding her phone at Coachella the next day. And yes, if the phone was never found, how does she know it was smashed?
Because it was thrown out of a 14th floor window.
Okay, but you never saw it smashed, is that true?
That's true.
Okay. And you after that fact, you couldn't recover any of the text messages on your phone, correct? And after that fact, you couldn't recover any of the text messages on your phone, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Nothing that was localized to that device and had not been backed up.
Okay. And that would be for any text messages from April 21 through what date that you were unable to recover?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's right. From April 21 prior to what date were you unable to recover text?
The date of the last successful backup.
And what was that?
I don't know.
Most iPhones, and I've owned one for over 10 years, back up automatically. Unless you have it turned off, and I don't believe she did. You know she kept everything, mountains of it. And I have a baby, so you may sometimes hear in my videos a baby in the background. I'm always wearing headphones, so yeah, it's just part of my way.
Okay.
My computer, I back it up onto a computer. I sync my phone to my computer, but my computer had run out of space. And so for many months, I was unable to back up my phone.
Okay.
I had no.
Okay, I'll play devil's advocate that if your cloud memory or storage is full, you can't back it up to your biggest device, which would be a laptop. But I also know, especially if she was on Deb's plan, that she had enough money to get a bigger plan to go up to a terabyte and whatnot.
Device to which I could back it up.
In relation to these proceedings, Ms. Hurd, have you at any time made any attempt to determine what texts, in fact, sent or received prior to April 21 were recoverable?
I am.
Brace yourselves, because this next part is excruciating how dumb and confused she acts. And it's an act, in my opinion. She's just asking if she knows whether or not she saved any text from this period. But this is Amber's response. And Mr. Harder, the questions aren't vague and ambiguous. Your client's answers are. Lord.
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking.
Have you made any efforts relating to these proceedings to determine prior to April 21, 2016, which of your texts sent or received on that device are recoverable?
It's vague and ambiguous. She doesn't have the device. Never found it.
Everything that was localized onto that device was lost.
Okay. And that is text lost from April 21, any text sent or received prior to that date, correct?
Wait, it assumes facts not in evidence, and it calls for speculation. And vague and ambiguous is to the word any.
Amber hasn't provided any texts or pictures during this deposition that I've seen. She said she left her phone in the car, and then the only pictures I've seen are the ones that Miss Burke provides, Johnny's side. And her lawyer says that the question is vague and ambiguous because of the word any. They have to ask any because she won't even answer about that specific week and having data from it, pictures, text message, etc. Which only then furthers the display that she's lying, not just about that week, but about the entire period, saying she doesn't have anything from that period. It's ridiculous.
Ms. Hurd, did you undertake any efforts relating to this case to determine for that device whether you could locate and identify any texts you sent or received that were still available prior to the date of April 21 and relating to these matters?
No, nothing. You cannot. Anything localized to this device was lost because it would have been localized
Sure,
to that
Jan.
device.
Sure.
Anything that was until Up until the latest backup.
Okay.
So when my computer ran out of capacity to have to save a phone backup, I was no longer able to save the information on that phone.
So it's not only that the phone broke, it's also because of the capacity. And this next part, I'm sorry, I had to speed it up.
When did your computer run out of capacity?
I don't know the exact date. Probably a few months before that. So I lost months of information.
Okay. Did you lose 1 month?
I'm sure it was over a month.
Did you lose 2 months?
I don't know when my computer started running out of space.
Okay. And related to these proceedings, did you make any attempt to find out when it ran out of space?
No.
And did you make any attempt to locate text prior to April 21?
Yes.
What did you do?
I looked and saw when was the last successful I looked into old backups, mostly to see when I got a new cell phone, what would be the most recent backup onto that phone. So I was curious as to how old my
Girl acts like she casually saves stuff. Like she doesn't save tons of pictures of Johnny sleeping and stuff. And like she's not a maniac about it for nefarious reasons.
my information that was going to be put onto my new phone was going to be. I ended up having a very hard time getting a new phone established because no one on Johnny's side would give me any of our cell plan info, and I didn't know I had been added to the family plan, so I had no ability to, when I finally did.
So Amber doesn't know where her cell phone service comes. She was just oblivious that she was added to Johnny's plan. Her phone just magically works. She just magically has a service plan or a data plan.
Got that information. I had no ability to activate a new phone, and so I had to get a new phone and start over from scratch.
And when you say nobody from Johnny's side would give me that cell phone info, could you tell me specifically what you attempted to do? And
I tried to activate a new phone, and I tried to do it through the carrier, AT&T, I believe it is.
Okay.
Because when you get a new phone from Apple or wherever, and forgive me, I'm not so tech savvy, but I think you have to activate a phone. You have to provide some reference to your account. I didn't even know what name the account was under.
Okay. And in those efforts to determine what you said you had curiosity about, what did you determine was the last backup that was made?
I love what Blair says there. What were you curious about? Because she says that she wanted to see what she had backed up, but she doesn't know anything.
What did I have curiosity? Sorry, what did you say I had curiosity about?
You said you undertook efforts because you had curiosity as to that you wanted to determine when the last backup had been
how
made.
old?
Yes. What did you determine?
I think I don't remember exactly, but I think it was that I didn't have a backup that was recent enough to make it worth putting on my cell phone. It was better to start over, as opposed to resetting. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know how these things really.
So we're just meant to believe Amber didn't have anything from that phone, which would have been the divorce period. Come on, man. Oh my God. And I'd love to know, and maybe I can look it up, but if this was the period the TMZ video was released, because how would she have that if she didn't have anything else from that phone?
Work. I'm doing the best I can to answer your questions.
Okay, and did you make any efforts at any time relating to these proceedings to determine if you had text messages in April of 2016 prior to the 21st in any way relating to these matters?
Can you be more specific so I understand what you're asking me?
Did you ever at any time look for texts between April 1st and April 21 relating to these matters?
Between April 1st and April 21 relating to these matters. So for the entire month of April?
Correct. Except for 1 week. Between April 1 and April 21.
Here comes that dumb and confused, excruciating part. Trigger warning.
I'm so sorry. I'm not quite sure I understand. Are you asking me if I specifically made any efforts to look for text messages that were lost prior to him throwing the phone out of the window?
I'm asking you if you have made any.
P.S. I don't believe Johnny ever threw her phone out the window. I believe that she probably threw both phones out the window. Or her phone was never thrown, just his.
Efforts to look for text messages that still exist so that you could produce them here.
Everything that was Everything that was prior to April 21st has been lost that was localized on that phone.
And when you say localized on that phone, what do you mean, Ms. Hurd?
I mean on that phone and unable to be saved anywhere else because of the lack of being able to back it up onto my computer, to sync it.
The phone you were using April 21, was it the same phone you were using on April 1?
It might have been. I broke a phone previously. I don't know when the phone prior to that was broken. I've gone through a lot of phones. I have very bad luck with breaking.
This next part is a clip that Incredibly Average played, which is Amber talking about how she gets upset and breaks her own phone and often has to leave it behind if she knows she's overwhelmed to avoid doing so.
I leave the phone at home. I find that when I'm feeling overwhelmed in that moment of my life, I tend to be, those tend to be the periods in which I will lose my phone and then not replace it for a while or longer periods of time, or break it and not fix it for longer periods of time than not, which tells me, I think there's some intuition there and just knowing that there is a certain amount of self-care and self-focus that needs to be put on yourself.
Maxed out of space. It was frustrating because I couldn't back up my phones.
Is the phone you had on April 21 the same phone you had on March 1?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd smashed a phone in that month by...
She doesn't know if she'd smashed a phone that month.
I honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Did you, in fact, produce in response?
So the TMZ cabinet slamming video was May 2016, May 21st. So she definitely had that phone backed up, in my opinion.
To a subpoena Dukas Takum, text messages from March 12, 2013 here today?
Did I bring them?
Yes, did you produce them? Not that you brought them, did you give them over to be produced today?
Well, again, if we're talking about handing things to attorneys, we've established that we're asserting the privilege on that.
Will you answer my question,
If
Mr.
the question is if it's in the stack that we gave you, you'll have to show us the stack.
Yeah, please show me I can tell you if it is.
Okay, we had asked you to review the documents produced during the lunch hour.
She said she had lunch.
No. Let me just say, the lunch hour, which was actually 50 minutes, was a chance for her to take a break. Looking through two inches of...
Looking at the documents and stuff are all preparations Amber and her lawyer should have had her do before this. But because they want to waste time and because she's only there for a certain amount of hours, her team is only allowing like 7 hours, I think Brian said, they try wasting time as much as possible.
Evidence of her being abused is not exactly a break, so she wasn't inclined to use her break time for that purpose. So if you would like to give her a stack to look at, she's happy to do so and answer your question.
Two more questions related to these texts. Ms. Hurd, showing you what will be marked as Respondents M. Did you ever provide this text from March 12, 2013 to be produced in these proceedings?
And if you had exchanges with counsel, we've established that that's privileged, and we would instruct you not to answer on that basis. If you gave it to some non-attorney, then that's different.
I didn't give it to you, non-attorney. I gave it to you guys.
Don't discuss it. Do you understand the privilege?
Mr. Harder has applied attorney-client privilege this entire deposition whenever it comes to Amber answering hard questions or incriminating questions, and yet Amber still doesn't understand privilege or whatever he claims it to be.
Not really, but...
Okay, I'm gonna move to strike that answer, claw back. Let's take a short break. I want to advise her how privilege works.
That's fine. I would.
Look at her face, like lost puppy, all confused. Such bull. And he says he's not going to go do legal research on his break.
I'm not going to go do legal research. I'm going to take 3 minutes.
3:39 p.m. We're back on the record.
Thank you. Ms. Hurd, did you bring with you today all of your computer devices?
No.
Okay. Did you bring with you today any and all cell phones that you had on April 21 or May 21 of this year?
No, I did not.
Did you bring any cell phones that you had at any time in 2016 here today?
No.
Did you bring any laptop computers that you had at any time in 2016 here today?
I don't think so.
Did you bring any smartphones with you here today that you had during 2016? Is that no?
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
Did you bring here with you today any electronic devices of any kind that were used by you or owned by you or accessible by you to communicate with any other person by voice message, email, or text message? Did you bring any of those with you here today? Okay. I'd like to just state for the record that Ms. Hurd, through her attorneys, was served on June 24 and again on June 20th with deposition notices and subpoena duces tecum, specifically.
So they were supposed to, but they just didn't. I'd like to hear how that's okay. and how that doesn't result in some sort of penalty.
Requesting the items in section P, just articulated. No objection, Ms. Hurd, for the record, was made to you producing these items by your counsel. So I just want you to know that objection has been waived.
That's incorrect. An objection was mailed to Ms. Foster's office. I can get you the exact date.
I never received.
It's a job that I have.
Wait for questions.
I served an objection. So there were objections that were made, written objections that were made, yes. Excuse me, I have been summoned out of the room. I'll return. So it's not correct, Claire.
Ms. Hurd, just to make clear for the record, your counsel's position here relating to your production of these items I've identified is that anything produced in response to any deposition.
And anybody claiming all the things that she's claiming, wouldn't they want to bring all of these things to support their claims? I mean, later on she shows that she has all this stuff, but obviously we see that it's strategic. She pretends she doesn't have anything.
Subpoena in this case is privileged. Are you aware of that?
Wait, Nick, don't answer. Privileged.
Referring you specifically to Exhibit H. You still have that?
H, you said?
Yes, H. It's identified as a deposition notice. For the surrounding no objections. Correct.
She doesn't even look like she's reading them.
Have you had a chance to look at those documents?
What's the question?
Have you had a chance to look at those documents?
Which documents?
Marked as Exhibit H.
I have not read this yet.
Okay. Do you need time to look at them?
Would you like me to read it?
I just want to make sure you have it and it's what I say it is, so that
Wasting
you
more
won't worry that
time.
there's any trick.
Take your time and review the document.
Okay. To make sure of what it is, or do you want me to actually read it?
Read the document.
Isn't that what you were just doing?
We're still on the record.
Reading it? Or we're supposed to be doing?
We can go off the record.
I don't
Lord
want to go
have
off the
mercy.
record. You wanted to read it?
Did you just ask if you were still on the record?
I just was wondering, and he said yes.
Insert Jeopardy music. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I can't with this. Oh. What am I going to respond with? How can I deflect or gaslight what I'm reading here so that it's not what it says and just my sick version of it? Oh, let me lean into my lawyer strangely intimately while he holds my chest. Totally normal.
For the record, Mr. Harder, we will likely not finish today and have to come back.
You're going to finish today.
So,
We're
she
done.
wants to
We're
read
done
it.
today. Fine, you go ahead and say what you want, but we're done today.
If we,
You're jetting it.
may I finish?
You
We will
can
likely not
lean
be
back
finished
now,
today, so
Amber.
if you'd
Your
like an opportunity to read this
attorney's
document
moment
at
is
home
over.
While we're on intermission, I'd be happy to have you do that, and I can come back to that. Would you
No,
like to do that?
No, our response is, we're going to be done today. I don't care if it's midnight that we finish, but you get 7 hours, and it's going to be done today, and no one's coming back.
Look at that. That's so unprofessional to me and strange. And before I get, he was muting her mic, but
Let the record
still,
reflect that
just
petitioner and her
gross.
attorney, Mr. Harder, are whispering and conversing. Did you have an opportunity to review Exhibit H?
It's only on page 3. There are
Why
more
don't I
pages.
point you to page 2, I'm sorry, page 10, paragraph P. Do you see that?
She hasn't gotten there yet.
Can you go to paragraph P of page 10?
This little period has wasted like 10 minutes of their
You've seen
only
this, paragraph P?
4,200
She's not there yet.
minutes.
She's trying to familiarize herself with the document.
She should have done that before she came today.
Well, she's doing it now.
It's okay.
Take your time with this document. Make sure you're comfortable with what this document is, okay?
She's about to move on because she sees that they're just wasting time. She should have read all
I'll
of
move
this
on.
before the
Ms.
deposition.
Hurd,
This is
Um,
ridiculous.
Seen this ever.
Don't say anything, just let her ask a question.
That's her declaration in support of her DVR. In your declaration that you filed in support of your request for a restraining order, did you say, do you have it there so that you can refer to it?
That's what this is, right? It's Exhibit K.
Exhibit K. Did you say did you claim in paragraph 7 that after my guests had left, Johnny and I had a discussion about his absence from my birthday celebration, which deteriorated into a bad argument that started with Johnny throwing a magnum-sized bottle of champagne at the wall and a wine glass on me and the floor, both which shattered. Johnny then grabbed me by the shoulders and pushed me onto the bed, blocking the bedroom door. He then grabbed me by the hair and violently shoved me to the floor.
Now listen to this declaration that she made and compare it to what she says happened in a second. I don't think she even describes him throwing her on the bed and stuff, and none of it makes any sense in my opinion.
Did you say that when you swore under penalty of perjury and signed your name to this document?
Yes.
Okay. And did you say in this same document that Johnny was screaming and threatening me, taunting me to stand up?
Yes, he did that often in fights.
Did he do that? Are you saying he did that on April 21, 2016?
Yes, it's something that had been happening a lot lately.
Did you say in your declaration that after several minutes, Johnny stormed out of the condominium, but not before tossing aside and breaking nearly everything in his path?
Yes. Are you asking me if I said that?
Yes.
Yes.
And is that the truth?
Yes.
Okay. After you say
it's
he
not,
did this,
in my
did you
opinion.
call the police?
No, I did not.
Did you call the police regarding these things you say happened at any time after you say they happened?
Vague and ambiguous. Compound.
Do you understand?
Her lawyer always says vague and ambiguous and then compound. And I think it's because he's claiming it lacks foundation. But every question has to be this way because anytime she's asked specific questions, she either says she doesn't recall or blatantly lies. It's like a horrible game of mental tug of war.
My question?
Yes.
Okay. Did you call the police? Can you answer my question?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Did I call the police on any of the other occasions, or any occasion?
Who, when telling the truth, has to constantly look at their attorney like that? I'm just curious.
I'm speaking of April 21 when you make these claims.
No, I
When you
didn't.
say these things happened on April 21, at any time after April 21, did you call the police about these things you say happened on April 21?
No, I never called the police on Johnny myself.
Did you ever report to any law enforcement authority other than the police your claims that he did these things on April 21?
No, I attempted as best as I could to hide this and keep our lives as private as possible. And I did what a lot of, I guess, women do, tried to protect him.
Were you attempting to hide this when you filed this declaration on May 27, 2016?
It was unhideable because the cops had been called.
She says the cops had been called, as if she's completely detached from the scenario and didn't tell her friends to call. She told Io to call, and Rocky called, and when she did, she described it as, in the strangest way, saying a man and his girlfriend wouldn't give any names or details. That's also on my channel, Rocky's 911 call.
Ms. Hurd, when you claim in your declaration that the argument started with Johnny throwing a magnum-sized bottle of champagne at the wall, do you recall that event?
Yes.
Okay. Did the bottle break?
I don't know if it broke or if there was a bottle on the table next to it that broke and a wine glass.
Dang, Johnny has some angry precision. He was able to take a bottle, hit another bottle, as well as a wine glass, like dominoes. Now I included this next part, which is part of one of their last conversations, if not their last conversation that's on my channel, because it's her denying about the calls again. So it just shows the inconsistencies and her approach to 911 being called on Johnny. 1 minute she's protecting him. The next minute she had her friend call. The next minute she didn't have her friend call. It's, yeah.
This anywhere. I didn't. Let me talk to the team.
I did not call the cops.
Io called the
I did not
cops.
call the cops.
You told Io to call the
I did
cops.
I did not call the cops, and I did not give them any statement when they came. I've been trying to protect you.
You told Io to call the cops.
While it was happening?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because the last time that it got crazy between us, I really did think I was going to lose my life, and I thought you would do it on accident. And I told you that. I said, oh my God, I thought the first time.
Amber, I lost a finger, man. Come on. I had a mineral can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence. And
Yes.
it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
It doesn't matter if it's fair fight.
Exactly, because you're bigger and you're stronger. So when I say that I thought you could kill me, that doesn't mean you counter with you also that you lost your own finger. I am not trying to attack you here. I'm just trying to point out the fact of why I said call 911. Because you had your hands on me after you threw a phone in my face.
See, so there she admits she told her friend to call 911. Can't keep up.
Stop this madness before I get hurt.
Oh my God.
And I never think about myself that way.
It broke, or if there was a bottle on the table next to it that broke and a wine glass next to it that broke, but there was both a wine glass and a bottle. I'm not sure which of the two it was that broke, the one that was thrown at me,
sure.
But missed, or if it was the one perhaps sitting on the table nearby. But the painting behind it that rests on the wall behind where I was standing still is missing a big chunk out of it. So it made quite an impact.
Are you finished?
So Blair consistently asks her yes or no questions, and these are the long-winded answers we get. Unless it's something important, then of course she looks at her attorney and her attorney says not to answer.
I want to make sure if you're finished or not. Yeah. Okay. Did the bottle you refer to, did it ever touch your body?
Brace yourself for this part, because 1 minute it touched her hands, the next minute it didn't, but it got on her knees, but she was standing, but she wasn't standing.
No.
Did the wine glass you refer to, in reference to the bottle, ever touch your body?
Pieces of it did. It shattered.
Okay. Where did the pieces you say touched your body touch your body? What part of your body?
I don't remember exactly.
So this bottle managed to take out another wine bottle, a wine glass, and put a hole through a painting. It's the world's first wine bottle pinball, apparently.
What part of my body was touched by the glass breaking upon impact? I do know that it touched my body, knees and hands. No, not my hands, my knees anyway. When I went down to the floor, some version of my legs.
Because in Amber's world, there's several versions of her legs, apparently.
When I went down to the floor later in the fight, but nothing significant.
She's so
not like
nasty,
Australia or
it's
anything.
despicable.
Were there any injuries to your body at the places you claim the wine glass touched your body?
No, I don't think so.
Was there
Nothing
any
significant.
indication that you could see on your body that the wine glass shards had touched your body?
No, not that I could see,
Okay.
or nothing that I remember.
I'm sorry, I just have to point out. She just said that it didn't touch her hands, it did touch her hands, but it touched her knees, and now she just said that nothing she can remember about it touching her body.
At the time the wine glass touched you, as you claim it did, was it intact or was it already broken?
I can't tell because it was, I assume it was shattered upon impact with the magnum-sized bottle of wine that was thrown. I'm assuming.
She has to keep pointing out that it was a magnum-sized bottle. But who doesn't remember whether they were hit with a full-sized unopened bottle of wine or cut by shards of glass? And make it make sense.
That's what shattered it, but at some point there was glass everywhere, and I was standing right next to it.
When you claim it touched your body, where specifically in the apartment were you standing?
I was
Sorry, I
standing
had to see
in
if it
our
was
bedroom.
on 1.25.
Okay.
And it
And
was,
where
surprisingly.
did the bottle and glass end up in your bedroom?
Around the bed.
Okay. Did you take at any time after this happened any pictures of this shattered glass and shattered bottle?
I'm not sure if I took pictures on this occasion. Sometimes I did, and sometimes I didn't take pictures. I think after I decided to after we got married, I kind of stopped being as, you know.
Yeah, she stopped taking photos and videos once they were married because at that point you're just in it, she says. Right.
You're in it at that point, and
Are you finished?
yeah.
Listen to the question and
Did
answer
you-
the question.
Did you ever make any effort since that time when you say this bottle shattered and this glass shattered, and you may have taken pictures, but you're not sure if you did, to locate those pictures?
Not that I remember.
Just to be
There's
clear.
been so many pictures I've had to locate. I don't remember specific ones from which specific dates they were taken.
Was
I'm not
was there debris from the bottle and glass shattering on your bedroom floor?
Yes.
Okay. And who cleaned that up, if anybody? Did you clean that up?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember if I had
No
time
way
to clean
she
it up
cleaned
before we
that up.
left
Yeah, right.
that day.
Okay. Was all of the things you say that were on your bedroom floor as a result of what's this? Okay. As a result of this incident there when Rocky or Raquel Pennington was in your bed?
I imagine so, but I can't be certain.
Okay. Did she help you clean it up or clean it up, to your knowledge?
I don't remember us cleaning up.
Okay. And could you describe what you saw?
In the next part, when she starts to go into the alleged abuse that she claims took place, it's confusing as to whether Rocky was there or wasn't there. One minute she's in the bed, the next minute it's just her and Johnny in the bed, and it's hard to believe Rocky was there while this was all taking place and didn't intervene or get involved. That part confuses me a little bit. Maybe someone can clarify in the comments.
What was on the floor of your bedroom as you describe it and where it was
I don't.
from this incident?
I don't remember.
Was there anything in addition on the floor in addition to the broken wine bottle and a broken glass?
Wine. Wine as well, but it might have been dried up by the time I left. I don't really remember what else.
In terms of the broken glass you claim was on your bedroom floor, could you describe specifically where it was on your bedroom floor relative to your bed?
It was around my bed because the paint, and probably by the entrance of the door as well, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
There was a lot of there was a lot of fighting and a lot of movement in several different parts of our room. So when he was holding me down on the bed and I was trying to stand up, that was by the closer to the bathroom, and I know there was broken glass there. When I was out of the bedroom door and he blocked it and shoved me back down to the floor that was by the entrance of the door, and I can't remember what else was breaking.
So this next part is funny. Blair asks if she brought the lamp, but it's because it sounds so ridiculous that Johnny's whipping magnum-sized wine bottles, holding her down, also keeping her from leaving, pushing, pulling, and then what she describes happened makes no sense at all, in my opinion.
Or what had been knocked over. I know the lamp broke as well. I didn't mention that. It's still in the storage closet. I just saw it the other day. And it has wine on it. I found it the other day.
Did you take pictures of that at any time?
No, not that I recall.
Did you bring that with you today?
I did not bring that with me. The lamp?
Yes.
No, I did not bring the lamp with me today.
Okay. Were you ever asked to locate any of the items that you say were damaged or broken from April 21?
Privileged. Don't answer.
Did you ever make any attempts to locate any of the items from April 21 that you say were damaged or broken?
No.
Okay. And in fact,
yes, I'm sorry. My phone. I tried to find my phone, but I never recovered it.
and in the DVRO that you filed with the court, did you attach any photographs whatsoever from the events you claim on April 21, 2016?
The court filing would speak for itself.
To your knowledge?
I don't know what we attached off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you know what you gave any other person for the April 21, relating to the April 21 event?
If it has to do with lawyers, it's privilege.
Ms. Hurd, can you tell me exactly what you say happened in the argument you say you had with Johnny on April 21?
What was the question exactly, if you don't mind me asking?
What happened?
She wants to hear you tell what happened.
I was being cold to him. I wasn't being I wasn't being.
This next part I'm going to give a trigger warning for, not because I believe the abuse she's alleging, but for those that have experienced abuse and trauma, what she describes could be triggering, and I'm sorry.
As open or friendly as I normally am. I was crying.
Yeah, because in all the conversations I've transcribed on my channel, she's so warm and open and caring.
That he missed my birthday, and this is after a month of him not coming home, like 5 nights, on average 5 nights a week. Just not showing up, or showing up at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, or at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd find out that he was passed out at one of the other places in West Hollywood. So it had been building up, and so the birthday incident was
because he was staying away from you.
Heartbreaking. It was my 30th birthday, and I just was sad about it. So he asked me, we got in bed, and I was just being quiet. I think I picked up my book.
I have a feeling Amber probably like punishes her friends and family if her birthday isn't perfect for like the rest of the year.
I tried to read, and he said, what's your fucking problem? And I said, I'm just hurt. And I had been seeing this, I've been trying to get us to see a marriage counselor who said that that's how I should like word things.
So she says she's been seeing, and then she hurries and changes it to she hoped to see a marriage counselor, and then talks as though she saw the marriage counselor when she just said she hadn't.
As opposed to it being accusatory, and I said, I'm just hurt that you didn't make it to my birthday party. And then it quickly deteriorated into the normal, it's my fault, why do you always blame me for everything? You always blame me for everything. And then it escalated, and I don't know what I said that immediately preceded it, but the first big action was the wine bottle that I remember being thrown at me, or maybe it was that I was trying to leave. I don't really remember which of the first.
So this is what I'm talking about, it being confusing. She says she came to bed, or he came to bed, and he says, what's your effing problem? And then she's sad about her birthday or him not being there, even though in the previous video of Incredibly Average, he was there, even though she's made this big debacle about him not being there. And then she says that the first thing he does is grab a big bottle of wine. So if they're in the bed, or she maybe was about to leave, and I was going to say, if they're in the bed, how was he able to whip it at her across the room if he's in the bed? But she says, none of this makes sense to me whatsoever. And then she ends up begging him to stay because she probably got physical, and he went to retreat like always. And she says she throws her hands up and they're in fists when she impersonates it, which doesn't look like a defensive move in my opinion. But good luck trying to figure this out. If you can, let me know.
Was that while you were in the bed that the wine bottle was thrown at you?
No, I wasn't. I was standing in the bedroom, in front of this painting, kind of closer to the bathroom. And when I moved to leave, he shoved me at some point, shoved me down on the ground. I stood back up, and he did this taunting thing where I guess it was to challenge me to see if I was really going to leave. You think you're really going to be the one to leave? You really think you're that tough, huh? Tough guy. And then shove me down again. I stand back up. And again, you think you're so tough?
We all know that he was the one to leave, and it would make her furious. This makes no sense. I believe not a word.
And eventually I did make it out of the bedroom. And I don't know if I was walking back from where my clothes are with an overnight bag, and I have to pass through the office because of the adjoining apartments. But in my passing him, he grabs my hair at some point. We're arguing kind of in passing as I'm walking through the office, and as I make it around the edge of the desk,
it's either a shove to initiate or something with my head, push or something, and it turns into him grabbing me by the back of my hair, and I said some, comment to him. I don't remember what it was, and walked into the bedroom, grabbed my toothbrush, things like that I don't keep in my closet room, and in doing that, we had.
Sorry, this part of the video got a little blurry, but it's crazy that she's describing she was able to be going around everywhere collecting her stuff to leave, which that point alone, her leaving, is unbelievable. But they were supposed to be fighting physically this entire time.
Had more of a fight. It was pushing. I put my hands up like this once.
Let the record reflect the witness is raising her hands above her
fists.
head.
You're interrupting her. She's
strange.
being videotaped. Don't interrupt her, please. She's telling her story. Go ahead.
Oh my God, look at her body language here.
Yeah, I don't know. I put my hands up, and
She
he
made
did
sure
this,
not to have
pushed
fists
him down,
that time. She's evil.
and squared off to me, bumped his chest into mine. I kind of like fell back a little bit onto the bed. I stood back up, and tried to walk past him to the door. At some point, I end up on the floor.
None of this makes sense to me.
I don't. He walks
There's
out.
no way to envision what
I tried
she's
to actually, even at
explaining
that
at
point,
all.
say, "Don't walk out. Like, maybe we just need to talk about it. Can we just take a break?" And then just talk, because it's my birthday, and I don't want to wake up on my birthday. We've had a million of these fights. It's just don't I just want to wake up on my birthday by myself. Don't. Go, please, even though it had gotten violent. This is nothing compared to so many of the other things. It actually wouldn't even be a major thing if it weren't one of the just most recent. This is not.
Amber's biggest issue is fear of abandonment, in my opinion. And if she got that remedied or worked on that, I think a lot of her problems in her relationships would resolve. But I don't think she's capable of self-reflecting. And the parts that she gets upset like this really make me mad. And I apologize to survivors of DV, of SA, of all of it, that she even posed to represent that group of women or men. It's shameful.
Bad thing. I mean, it wasn't bad in my head in relation to what we have lived through.
Say what happened.
Sorry. It escalates. I tried to get him to stop that in that moment, and he broke a bunch of shit in the kitchen. I think he wrote on the countertop. I think that's one of the times he wrote on the countertop in Sharpie some crazy message to me. And I went upstairs. I heard him kind of coming in and out, and then when I walked downstairs, it was quiet for a really long time. When I walked back downstairs, it was just a note on the floor that said, "Happy fucking birthday."
Was there any other debris on the floor downstairs other than on the countertops in the kitchen?
I don't remember. I know he smashed. He's knocked over lamps and that statue thing and paintings and he's gotten really into. He'd been punching photographs with me in them.
Yet no pictures or video of any of this. I did see maybe 1 or 2 photos of smashed pictures in the one penthouse, or it was on the body cam footage of the 911 call, which doesn't even prove who actually broke them. So, and I don't think it's cool to go around breaking things at all. But I think he did that to avoid being physical in return, because she was physical.
Recently, and this was one of those times, but nothing that nothing downstairs specifically that I remember at this moment.
Okay. And did I hear you say you had tried to convince Johnny to stay to talk about it?
At some point in the argument, yeah.
Okay. And were you successful in getting him to stay?
No, just long enough to have it explode.
And at any time during this physical altercation you say you were having with Johnny, at any time did you push him?
Oh, and this is when the cell phones were thrown out. That's what initiated. That was the first move. Earlier I said to you, I can't remember what the first.
So she claims that he came to bed and the catalyst was him saying, "What's your effing problem?" because she was sad about her birthday. Now it was the throwing the phones was the catalyst. So I think that's kind of her admitting she threw his phone out the window without admitting it, in my opinion, because I don't believe he threw her phone. I think she was upset he wasn't as present as she wanted him to be, and he had work engagements that night and probably was on his phone, and explains without explaining why she threw his phone. Because he gets calls and it distracts from the attention being it's her 30th birthday.
First move was, that was what it was, and that was the first move.
So when you say that, you mean the way the argument actually started was that Johnny threw your cell phone out and you threw his cell phone out?
Yeah, but that's not how the argument started. The argument started from our discussion about him missing my birthday and being late or missing things a lot lately, and how important it was for me that he just simply show up, you know.
And it would be fair to say you're very upset about that?
I was not upset, I was hurt.
And you expressed that to him?
Yes, I said I'm really hurt. I was trying to use language that I thought was different and not confrontational, and that he would swallow better, knowing that he was not in a great state and that he was drinking a lot, and so I was being very delicate, as you have to be when he's drinking.
And you did not include anything about
Another dig at Johnny that he's always drinking when Amber also drank and did a lot of drugs, in my opinion, but she always has to get those jabs in there.
the throwing of the cell phones out the window and the smashing of the cell phones in your declaration asking for a restraining order, correct?
Declaration speaks for itself.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I think the declaration's full of plenty of facts. Pardon?
After Mr. Depp left, do you have any idea what time you believe he left?
I really don't recall what time it was.
Did you have any injuries whatsoever from this incident, this argument you say occurred?
Make it ambiguous.
Physical injuries?
I don't think so. And nothing significant.
Did you seek any medical care of any kind related to this fight you described with Mr. Depp?
On this particular occasion?
April 21.
No.
Did you, at any time during the altercation with Mr. Depp that you describe in paragraph 7 of your declaration, did you hit or strike Mr. Depp in any way?
When he was hitting me when I was outside of the bed, I know I was trying to put my hands up in defense of myself. I don't know if I don't know if I landed anything on him. I was trying to defend myself. He's much bigger than me.
At any time during the April 21 incident, did you scratch?
Yes, because according to Amber, because Johnny is bigger than her doing anything physical to him isn't considered abuse. And I inserted that part of their phone call into this video, but there's more of it on the full-length call where she seriously says that she does not believe that it's abuse because she's 115 pounds and he's whatever. It's absurd.
Mr. Depp?
I have no idea if I don't have any idea in my acts to defend myself if I had caused him any injury. I don't think so, but I don't know.
After Mr. Depp left on early morning hours of April 22nd, you went to sleep, correct?
Yes.
And after you woke up, you packed for Coachella, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And Coachella is a music festival you had planned to go to with your friends, correct?
Yes.
And those friends included Raquel Pennington,
Yes.
Mel Iglesias,
Melanie.
Melanie Iglesias,
Yes.
Amanda de Cadenet,
No, she did not go.
Whitney,
Yes.
that's your sister, Io Tillett Wright, anyone else?
Savannah McMillan.
Savannah McMillan, anyone else?
A friend named Rami Sarabi met us there, or he was already there and met us there. But he, yeah.
And you had a driver, someone who worked for Johnny, and you?
I drove myself with Raquel and my sister, I believe. I think my sister came with us, yeah. And then Starling met us there.
Starling drove from your Broadway apartment to Coachella and met you there?
I don't know where he left from, but he did meet us there.
Did he have any luggage that you had provided to him?
I'm not sure if we put the luggage in my car, his car.
Do you have any idea why Starling Jenkins was with you on this trip?
As a security guard.
Did you require security?
Johnny felt I did.
Did you feel like you required security from Johnny on this trip?
No, not particularly.
Did you ever make any attempt?
Allegedly got physical and beat her up the night before, but cares about her enough that he hired security for her at Coachella.
To ask Johnny to actually come to Coachella during the time you were away?
I didn't have a cell phone. I did use my iPad for texting, but I tried to kind of put it down. I was in a very bad headspace. It was really sad.
Is that yes, you did, or no, you didn't try to get Johnny to come to Coachella when you were there from April 22nd to whenever you were?
The pictures I saw of her at Coachella, she looked happy as a clam.
Return to Los Angeles.
We did not have direct communication, no.
Did you have indirect communication encouraging him to come?
I don't know if my sister encouraged him to come. My sister was in communication with him, and I do not know the nature of their text messages. I know it was encouraging for communication. I don't know if she said, I don't know what she said there.
Did you share prior to?
Okay, so translation, Amber was being too prideful to tell Johnny to come, but she wanted him there, so she had her sister do it, in my opinion.
During the trip or prior with your sister Whitney, anything about the incident that occurred on April 21 or April 22? With Johnny.
I can't recall to what detail I told her. We fought. She knew we fought. Everybody knew we were fighting, but I don't know to what extent I spoke about it.
Did you ever make any efforts to tell your sister?
If Johnny were this raging maniac, why would her and her friends be okay with him showing up? And why would her sister be okay inviting him there? Okay.
To rescind the invitation to Johnny?
Not that I recall.
Did you, during your trip, you left your Broadway residence on April 22? When did you return to Los Angeles? How many days later?
I believe the following Monday. I believe.
So you were gone a little over a week?
No, I'm sorry. We were just gone for the weekend.
Okay.
So I believe the 22nd was Saturday. If anyone has a calendar, it might be helpful. I don't have one.
If April 22nd was Friday.
So then we would have come back, I think, on Monday.
Okay. So that would be April 25, 2016?
That's not good.
Yeah, it helps to see.
Showing you
the 24th or 25th, I think.
Showing you what will be marked as Exhibit N. Is this a picture of you while you were on your trip with your friends in Coachella?
Yeah, I haven't seen this picture. Yeah.
Okay. And am I correct? You're smiling in that picture?
Yes, I'm smiling in that picture.
Okay. During the time you were away in Coachella on your trip, did you use at any time any illegal drugs?
I'm going to object on grounds of privacy.
Okay. Any other grounds you'd like to raise at this time?
Yes, in my opinion, and incredibly average.
Are you instructing your client
plans
not to answer the
to
question?
release stuff
Irrelevance,
about
privacy.
the drug use at Coachella.
At any time while you were on this trip, did you drink alcohol?
I can answer that, right?
Sure.
I had a glass of wine at the hotel. I did not drink at the festival. It's gross, kind of gross wine.
Is it your testimony here today that between the time you left Los Angeles and returned to Los Angeles to go to the Coachella Festival, you had one glass of wine, as you say, at the hotel?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how many glasses of wine I had at the hotel. I don't want to commit to one number.
It's
don't
always
remember
just
how many.
one glass of
Ms.
wine.
Hurd, at any time while
Sure,
you were in
Jan.
Coachella, did you ever throw up or regurgitate in a parking lot?
No, I did not.
Did you ever regurgitate or throw up at any other location?
I'm going to object.
It's not normal to puke from drinking beyond like college years. In case Amber doesn't know that, but apparently she did puke, and the guy, I believe, who acted as her security that night testified to her puking at Coachella.
I mean, it's irrelevant and it's privacy, and I just don't see the point.
Showing you what will be marked as a respondents, huh? N. No, M. M as in Mary was that? Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's O? Okay. So showing you what will be marked as respondents O. Do you recognize who's in that picture?
Take your time.
What do you ask?
Listen to the question.
Do you recognize that picture?
No, I've never seen this picture before.
Okay. Do you recognize what that picture reflects? Any of the people that picture reflects? Who are those people?
That's my sister and my best friend.
Okay. And were they in the car with you driving to Coachella on May 22nd?
On April?
I'm sorry, April 22nd?
Yes.
Okay. And am I correct that you did not physically see Johnny Hurd between April 20?
Johnny Hurd?
I'm sorry, Johnny Depp between April 22nd and May 21.
I'm so sorry. Are you asking if I did not see him?
Did you at any time see Johnny Depp in person between April 22nd and May 21?
I do not think so. No.
At any time between April 22nd and May 21, did you text Johnny Depp?
But before May 21st?
Correct.
Yes, we started texting. I think the first time we spoke was when I was on my way to Italy for work. We had a phone conversation on the way to the airport, So this was almost a month in, so it would have been right before the 21st. I'd have to look at a calendar, so it would have been right around 3.5 or 3.5. May I?
No?
Maybe I'll recognize. Let's see, to May 21st. That's a Saturday. So I think it would have been, like I said before, 3.5. If I guess about 3 to 3.5 weeks of no communication, and then we started communicating while I was in Italy, and he was also in Europe on tour.
And were you utilizing a telephone to communicate with him?
I'm not sure. Yes.
You bought a new phone after April 22nd? And were you utilizing the same phone number?
No, not that I have now. I've had to change my number a few times.
What was the number?
It's clear she's asking if she used that phone because she's trying to catch her in a lie. But of course, she just answers irrelevantly that her number is now different than it is today, the day of this deposition, which doesn't even matter.
You were utilizing at the time you texted Johnny Depp between April 22 and May 21.
We started communicating on my old. It would have been my old phone number that I had for a long time. I would add the same number still. I think it would be the number. I think.
Yeah, because it was that phone, in my opinion.
Okay. At any time since you filed your DVRO declaration, or before, have you made any attempt to locate those communications where you would have texted or been texted Johnny Depp or received text from Johnny Depp between April 22 and May 21?
I think this has been asked and
This is
answered.
going to
It's also
confuse
been
her.
reviewed.
I know it.
I don't know.
At any time did you try to find those texts that you were referring to as communications with Mr. Depp?
I don't know if I have. I don't.
When was the next time
Look at her
you
face,
saw
it's so
Johnny
creepy.
Depp after he left your bedroom and apartment on April 22?
I didn't see him again until until May 21st.
Okay. And that was the day after his mother had died?
I don't know when his mother died. I was not in communication with him other than a few text messages prior where he was asking me to be there. And I was saying, I'm here, let me know what the progress is. But
Well, so she says there that Johnny wanted her there while his mom passed or after. And she said, I'm here, but let me know the progress, which means she wasn't there for him. I'm pretty sure that's the same period she started all her effery, which was calling the cops and getting the restraining order, all the same week to 2 week period, which is horrid.
so we had very limited communications, and then he stopped talking to me for a few days. So it happened within, I guess, in the window surrounding May 21st, somewhere around there. I don't know when.
Did you communicate in any way?
Yeah, he stopped communicating with her because she filed a restraining order on him, and she could only hope that he would break it so she could use it against him. She is sick. Oh, but mind you, in the earlier parts of this deposition, we hear that she was like begging to talk to him. So I guess she only does that on her time and not when it really matters.
In the week prior to Johnny's mother's death with Johnny about the health or condition of his mother?
Yes, although I'm unsure as to the exact date of when she died, but I can tell you that when he came over on May 21st, his mother had passed, hence why he came over. And for the week prior to that, we texted in a very limited fashion about his mom being sick.
And and at the time he arrived at the apartment on May 21, is it your testimony that you were in fact aware that his mother had died?
Yes,
Okay. And how had you learned that?
my parents,
Okay. And how did they communicate that to you?
on the phone or via text. I'm not sure which one.
And was that on May 20th or May 21?
I don't know.
Okay. And when you filed your declaration in this case and you described what happened, did you say that at the time, referring to May 21, at the time of Johnny's arrival, my friend Elizabeth Mars was present along with my friend Raquel Rose Pennington and her fiance Joshua Drew, who live in the adjacent apartment.
Is that in the declaration? What's the page and line number?
Ms. Hurd, would you like me to provide you the page and line number? I'm happy to.
Please.
You should follow.
Yes, page 2 of your declaration, paragraph 9, line 17 begins the paragraph.
If you read it and then listen for the question.
What's your question, please?
Did you put that in your declaration that you filed asking for a domestic violence restraining order?
Yes, it is in my declaration.
Did you put in your declaration, paragraph 10, that when Johnny arrived at first, we were having a peaceful conversation in our living room talking about his mother's passing?
Yes.
Did you put in your declaration that I tried to comfort him while we sat on the couch?
Well, my brain really hurts by now after watching all of this, but what's described in the declaration does not at all match what she just said. Would have been in her declaration had it happened the same exact way. She just described being on the bed, etc., not the couch comforting him because his mom had passed. What the heck?
Yes.
Did you put in your declaration that Johnny, he began obsessing about something that was untrue?
Yes.
Did you put in your declaration that you tried to calm Johnny down by calling one of his trusted employees?
I first said that he became obsessing about this thing that was untrue, and his demeanor changed dramatically, and he became very angry.
Okay.
Then, in order to try to calm him down, I tried to call one of his close employees.
Did you put the words I described in the declaration you filed?
What do you mean by that?
Did you give the words to somebody that are in this document that was filed with the court?
Privileged. Privileged. Don't answer.
Are these words that you see in the declaration before you?
Are those words?
The words I've described.
It's vague and ambiguous. It's unintelligible. The document speaks for itself. You're reading from it.
Ms. Hurd, I'm asking you to confirm if you say in your declaration that these things are true. I am asking you if those things are in fact stated in your declaration.
The declaration speaks for itself.
Those words are all in front of me.
Thank you. Are you aware that Elizabeth Mars has testified under oath that she was not there at the time of Johnny's arrival?
Calls for speculation.
She's
And
in the.
if you learned anything from counsel, you can't answer. If you learned it from some other fashion, then you can.
But Elizabeth was there. She was just in the connecting apartment. She was in what Elizabeth probably meant and probably did not clarify.
Just
is
say-
she was in the apartment that connects. They're all connecting.
Tell her.
I'm trying to.
So
she was in the connecting apartment.
So what this appears to me is that she tried saying, well, Elizabeth was there to make it seem like she had a witness to what she's claiming happened. And now the witness has testified that she was not there. And here's Amber's version in comparison, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it in the next part that Incredibly Average releases.
All the apartments connect, and normally those doors are left open, and we call it the compound, and it's treated as one big space. That's why we have keys to one another's apartments, and they all connect. And Elizabeth Mars and Josh and Rocky were all there. By there, they were in their respective places, not on my lap or on the couch or in the room next door to us. So they were there.
We've been going an hour and 10 minutes. Can we
So
please take a
when-
break? It's been an hour and 10
Sure.
minutes. Okay. We're going to take, what, 5 to 10? 5 to 10?
And look at her face at the end.
Can we ask to go off the record?
The time is approximately 4:28 p.m. We're going off the record.